By the year 2050, the world's population is expected to be well over 9 billion. But how are we going to feed them? A popular source of protein in the West is animals such as cows and beef, and as well as chickens such as birds. But there could be an alternative. Bloody insects might just be the answer.
For example, crickets use much less water, feed and land, and can be harvested every 8 or so weeks. But these images make me nervous. Will we be able to control these giant cow-sized bugs, or are we unleashing a nightmare?
Matt Ruby is an expert in the psychology of eating, and he says that consuming insects...
Don't touch that.
Matt Ruby says that consuming insects is potentially one of the ways forward.
There is already an estimated 2 billion people who currently include insects in their diet. We sat down to talk. Not me and the 2 billion people, that would have taken ages.
So insects are nutritious and practical, but we don't eat them. Why?
Well, a lot of people find the idea of eating insects disgusting, but it's important to note that what sort of foods we consider disgusting is largely something that we learn. So as anybody who's had children or taken care of young children knows, you have to keep an eye on them because they will put anything in their mouths. So if children are raised eating insects and consider it to be a normal food, they're not disgusted by it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like because of our childhood diet, we love Vegemite, and whereas other cultures find that repulsive. Or in Australia, it's normal to drink the blood of goats because we were raised in satanic cults.
So in many cultures around the world, people have a really strong association between insects and the idea of dirt or filth. And for many people, when they think of insects, they often think of, flies buzzing around something rotten or a pile of poo.
And I think we're also suspicious that flies are up to no good because of the way they go. So, to eat bugs, we need to overcome what scientists often call the yuck factor. They also refer to it as the ich response, the bleh reflex, and the coefficient.
By just looking at Matt's head, it was impossible to glean what knowledge was hidden within, so I enticed it into the open by means of a question.
So Matt, can this disgust be overcome?
Absolutely, and I think that sushi is a good example of this. When sushi was first introduced to the world outside of Japan, a really common reaction was disgust. Why would you want to eat raw fish? But now sushi is wildly popular in many parts around the world, and when you think about it, prawns and crabs physiologically aren't too different from insects.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've actually got crabs. I have them as pets. My friend who runs an aquarium, he gave them to me. Yeah, I keep them in my pubes.
As the weekly's science reporter, it was time to engage in an experiment and put some insects into my scientific mouth.
So Matt, what's on the menu?
Well, usually when people start off trying new foods like insects, a lot has to do with the presentation. So for example, having them incorporated into other foods like these protein bars.
Yeah, right. That's good, sort of chocolatey.
And then the next step would be having them in other more familiar foods. We have some green ants.
Yeah, you can kind of see the ants there. They're tangy, I like them.
And then when people are feeling a little bit more courageous, you'd have the whole insects.
Yes, there's no hiding that that's a little grub.
No.
No, but it tastes good, I think. And then I guess the next step is catch them and just pop them straight in.
No, we're not encouraging people to eat them while they're still alive.
Oh, and what's this delicious little offering?
That's the poisonous curare beetle that just escaped from the glass case that I explicitly told you not to touch.
Sort of fruity. So, there are lots of insects that are delicious and nutritious and might just save the planet. You may, however, want to avoid the curare beetle because I think I might be going to die.